Hey, this is Jodi 𝚘𝚊𝚗 here. Welcome to this nervous system reset experience. I am so happy for you today to be learning this technique because I think it is one of the best things that I've learned and integrated into my life to help me heal. So it is a nervous system reset, meaning reset back to whole, back to original, back to baseline, right? Because a lot of times there's things in the world that dysregulates us, that triggers us, or we have a reaction. And that could be a physical reaction like our sympathetic nervous system, or it could be an emotional or mental or spiritual reaction to what is going on in our field, in our world, in our context. And so we are constantly being thrown out of that regulation. And the faster we could come back to it, the easier our life is going to be, obviously. And there's some things that are so huge that it does take a while. But if you have a practice to reset you for all of the little things, then it helps you, right? It helps you when the big things happen. It fortifies you. It keeps you really confident and believing in yourself and having faith, kind of robust. Your bandwidth is robust, and it makes it easier for you to handle when larger things come your way. So what I mean is, let me give you an example or a metaphor to help you picture this. So if you think about a screen, like a brand new screen door, and it's like clean, right? And the wind comes right through. And as it goes through some parts of the year, while there's like lots of pollen in the air and the wind is bringing lots of dust and pollen into that screen, what happens? Eventually those holes get smaller and smaller and it traps more and more dust. So you want to clean the screen and let that air through again, right? It blocks some air. There's less air coming through because that dust is there. That's what I mean by a reset. So if we continually reset, not only are we healing stuff from our past, but we're also allowing us to have better bandwidth for new stuff coming. What I mean by bandwidth is your capacity. So your physical capacity to handle anything, your emotional capacity to handle anything, your mental capacity, and your spiritual capacity. Now, this could be really expanded and we could have a lot of bandwidth to deal with a lot of things. That's ideal. Or we could really be compromised by things, by negative people in our life or negative feelings or problems that are happening and difficulties that we're going through. Of course, those are all from the context of our life. This is not to blame you, but there's context in our life and sometimes in our mind. If there's negative thinking, it becomes its own context that really compromises our bandwidth. And so we want to do these experiences of reset and then stick with me because I have tons of stuff to help you get better. And if you haven't got my Energy Shield training, I want you to go ahead and get that video. It's jodiamen.com/empath. If you're going on this process of trying to heal yourself, you want to stop taking stuff in, and then you want to learn how to reset yourself. And then everything on the rest of the journey is going to be that much easier. So this technique I'm going to teach you in this video is a breathing technique. And there is a reason why we use breathing techniques to reset our nervous system, because obviously breath and our nervous system is very connected. And let me tell you why. Because I love the science of it. It really helps demystify things and it sticks with us. Like we're meaning makers. Humans are meaning makers. And so if we know the meaning of something, then the information sticks to us and then we have better access to it, right? We stay committed to doing the work because we know how it works. So I'm going to tell you how it works because I want you to be committed to the work and I want you to get everything that you can out of it. So breathing. So the reason why we use breathing to calm ourselves, to reset our nervous system, is because when it becomes dysregulated, it is that sympathetic nervous system that is triggered. That's the amygdala, that small almond-shaped cluster in the middle of your brain that triggers our adrenaline to be released into our bloodstream. And when your adrenaline is released into your bloodstream, your body is getting ready to fight or flee, right? So it's putting all the oxygen into your big muscles so you could run away or you could fight, whatever that threat is. 98% of the time, there is no threat. And so we have to talk ourselves, say, I'm good, amygdala, thanks so much. I don't need you right now. But we want to reset that nervous system. And so what is important is why breathing is so often used for this is that when our adrenaline's released, what happens in our bodies, our breathing becomes really shallow because we want to get as much oxygen in as fast as we can to get that to our large muscles. Our heart rate goes up as well to pump it out faster. And when we are breathing really low in our body, it triggers our brain into thinking that we're safe. So it stops the process. It puts the brakes on the adrenaline. That's the GABA hormone, puts the brakes on the adrenaline. But the amygdala has to get the information. So the parasympathetic nervous system that stops it gets triggered and we calm down. So that's why breathing techniques and breathing long and low is something, because it triggers your brain into thinking you're okay, and it does reset the system. So literally with the hormones, it's literally physically resetting it. And you'll see from this process that besides the physical benefits to it, you'll have emotional benefits because we're going to be releasing some feelings that you might be holding on to. Mentally, you'll be better because you won't be going over those negative feelings and the stories that those feelings tell you. And spiritually, you'll feel better because you'll feel connected. You'll feel a sense of connectedness because all of these other problems are giving you a sense of disconnectedness. So this process is going to help all the bodies all the way up. And we really want to do this work because we know that when we're sensitive and we are empathic, that we take in a lot of stuff. So we want to stop taking it in, get that other video, but also we want to do something to heal ourselves so that those things don't get stuck and our body doesn't have to tell us to stop, right? To tell us to heal, right? If we keep taking on that stuff, our issues are in our tissues and it's gonna, your body's gonna get really loud someday. And we wanna take care of this stuff before it gets that loud, before there's a problem. So in this video, we're gonna do this together. So get yourself comfortable. You could pause this if you need to get yourself comfortable. And because we're gonna close our eyes and really relax into this and really do some guided visualization right now. All right, so we're going to think of something in our life that's mildly annoying or bothering you. And the reason why I say mildly is because I want you to practice this first with something that's not so intense. And once you got it down, then you could use it with other things that are more intense in your life. But for right now, when we're practicing it the first time, try to come up with something that's mildly annoying or kind of itching you or niggling you in your life and bothering you. All right, so once you have it, go ahead and close your eyes. And I'm going to take you into two witnessing placements. One of them is in your body when you're feeling this visualization, and the other one is observing your body from outside your body. So imagine you're in a folding chair a couple feet in front of yourself and watching this process happen. So we're going to go back and forth from one witnessing position to the other in this process. All right. So bring into your consciousness that thing that's been niggling or bothering you a little bit. So I want you to bring into your consciousness the feeling of it. There's going to be some stories that are attached to it, and you're not going to go into the story of it. Right now, we're going to come into the body. And the best way to do that is imagine it an image, a color, a shape. Imagine it in a location in your body. Where does it feel like it is? That denseness or that shape or that color. Could be an image. So get a location, get a shape, get the aesthetic, get the feeling. So we're going to stay in the feeling. It's okay to feel your feelings, because it's really the story of them that causes the suffering. It's a judging them and thinking you're wrong and thinking, what is it? And trying to figure it out and not being able to and second guessing. That's where the suffering is. And we're going to let all that go. And I want you to feel the feeling in the rawness of the feeling. But I promise you, I'm not going to leave you here. And it's not going to be as bad as those stories are. So if you find yourself going into the stories, come back into the body, see, feel that problem. And now, ready? We're going to take a long, deep breath in right to that space. So imagine it coming in your body and imagine it going right to that image in that location. And this breath, you can imagine this breath, you can imagine it as light if you want to, but it's just a healing presence that you're going to breathe in and kind of wrap and infiltrate into that problem. You're just going to feel it and sense it and watch it coming around and inside, whatever that shape is. You're not trying to do anything. You're just being present with it. So let's try very slowly to bring in 5 deep breaths. And when you're full lungs, pause for a moment and then exhale very long. So we're going to do 5 breaths. Okay, go back to regular breathing and we're going to take a look. So let's ask you in your folding chair, what do you notice? If you're looking at the shape, do you notice any difference? We're not trying to do anything. We're not analyzing. We're not going in the story of why it's different. Just observe. And then the you in your body, what does it feel like? Allow yourself to feel it fully. Did it change at all? It's okay if it hasn't. I'm just curious. Now let's try to do 5 more deep breaths. That light breath, that light healing presence, take it all the way in and let it just go to that area, around, within, through, whatever it wants to do. Three more. Okay. I want you to observe it again. What do you notice? Most people who go through this process have some slight changes, but if you don't, that is okay. But if you do, notice that. Now you know the process. You don't need me anymore. You could keep doing it on your own. Now you know just in those few minutes of feeling the feeling without the story, there's a shift. And with the long breath, there's a shift in your nervous system. When we get out of that story, we really could actually feel that feeling and go out to the other side when it's resolved, when it's dissolved. That's what we want to do, is we want to dissolve, not resolve something. Resolve needs our mental body, and we try to figure out a problem. And sometimes there's no solution because it's not really a problem. Our mind is just trying to protect us and trying to think there's something, but there's not. A lot of times there's nothing to do, but just really acknowledge and validate yourself and be compassionate and understanding and allow yourself to feel it. And then it gets resolved on its own, because the story attaches us and the story exponentially makes it huge. And the story is damaging and humiliating and heavy on us. And usually 99.9% of the time is completely false, completely false. Now listen, like I said, this process has helped me get rid of things that were in my life, in my body, affecting me. You know, sometimes you're not even thinking about things, but they affect you anyway. We want to get rid of them. Sometimes we have to see them to get rid of them, and sometimes we could just get rid of them by dissolving them, by allowing them not to stick anymore, by cleaning our screen so that wind could go through and take out the other stuff that we didn't even know was there and just go, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Just want it out. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this nervous system reset experience. From my heart to yours, I'm so glad that you are here and you're in my community and you're listening to my silly videos, just talking about how to up-level your life. If you are interested in my intuition program, don't hesitate. This program, listen, is transmissional. So I transmit energy through the videos that's going to activate your DNA, going to activate those spiritual gifts in you. This is exquisite. I've never done anything like this before, and it is an amazing program, and I think you're going to really, 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 really love it. And don't forget, I have an equity rate. So if you have a marginalized identity and you want to get that equity rate, just send me an email and I will send you the code and we'll get that taken care of, because I want this to up-level your life. I want you to be able to make those aligned decisions, feel better about yourself, have better relationships, and have better businesses, and know what to do, and stop that monkey mind. And so that we could really hear that voice. That voice is always there. That wise voice, that wise inner voice in us is always there, except for we have so much chatter that it's in the way. It can help us really feel connected to the earth, to the cosmos, to the field, to God, to ourselves, to our relationships. Connected. And from there, our bandwidth is so full. Not full like too full and like heavy, but like robust, full, and able, and maximized, and we're magnetized. All right, I'll let you go and get that there, and keep watching my videos, and we're gonna let that you want to be shine through.